All right, everybody, it is quite the real estate market these days. So we're talking about, should you continue to rent? Is it the time to buy? Well, we shall talk about it with real estate expert Michael Park from Renters Warehouse. He is back with some advice. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Great, thanks. And we do need the advice right now because we're talking about a scenario where sometimes houses are selling, within 24 hours of being on the market.
Absolutely. I just had that scenario happen recently. I had someone who was buying a property, put their property on the market within 24 hours, had multiple offers and full asking price, and that's happening over and over right now. It's definitely a market where it's a seller's market. The average home price has increased to $340,000, or the median home price has increased to $340,000, which is a 43% increase over the last 5 years.
And the supply is very different right now, too.
Absolutely. Right now we have about a 2-month supply. Normally right now you'd have about a 6-month supply of homes.
And it's almost this feeling of where people think, do I have to just jump on the first house I see that I like, or I won't get one?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very easy to make a quick, hasty decision, but in a market like this, because you're worried that a property might get snagged out from under you. But it's important that you take your time and really make a decision whether it makes sense to even buy or whether you should continue to rent.
So let's talk about price-wise, because I know that rent is averaging $1,200 to $1,500 for a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment.
Yes.
And that's high. Is it actually less expensive to get into a home right now?
You know, it depends on the area quite a bit. What we probably see as the average in the market, in the DFW market, tends to be around $1,500 to $1,600 for a 2 to 3 bedroom home. Typically around a 3, you're looking at $1,400–1,500, depending on the area. It can be higher or lower.
Yeah, and there are other costs, of course, associated with that and other factors. So let's talk about what questions you should ask yourself if you're considering renting or buying.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are quite a few factors. When you think about, it's not just cost, but that is one of the factors. You want to look at your mortgage payment, but a lot of people look at a mortgage payment and think, well, that's quite a bit cheaper than paying rent. But you do have to remember you're responsible for property taxes. You're probably responsible for the homeowners association dues. When something
repairs.
Correct. When something breaks, you don't get to call the landlord or the property manager. You're responsible for the cost of that. And when you move in, if the hot water heater goes out and it's a $1,000 repair or $2,000, you're the one responsible for that. So you got to be financially ready to make those types of decisions. It's not just that monthly payment that you have to think about.
And then on the flip side, there's the equity you could be building in your home and other benefits like that.
Absolutely. The benefit is owning something and being in an area that you want to stay for a long period of time. You're able to build that equity. So every time you make a mortgage payment, you're paying down that loan. So you're building equity. And then on the flip side, we talked about appreciation of the property, where in the last 5 years, you've seen a 43% increase. Will that continue forever? Probably not, but the value of your home is increasing while you're paying down that balance of your mortgage.
Other questions you want to ask yourself: what kind of lifestyle you want, where you want to live.
Absolutely. If you hate yard work, you probably don't want to buy a big property that's going to require you working in the garden every weekend. That's probably not the best thing. But you can look at things like condos, townhomes, things that you might want to purchase along those lines. Do you want to be responsible for those costs associated with it, for the trade-off of home ownership? So those are definitely things you want to think about.
You mentioned the question that we are asking ourselves now: if you are looking to sell your house and get a new house, perhaps is it better to rent out the original home?
It's a fantastic question. What we work with a lot are homeowners who do that exact same thing. They might be buying a second home. They live in their current home. They're moving into their next home, but they want to keep this one for an investment. Move a renter in, have that renter pay down that mortgage over time, so it's an asset. So one of the things you want to look at is, well, does it make sense from a financial aspect for me to go and take those gains that I have in that property, or keep them there, have a renter continue to pay that mortgage down, have cash flow, keep the tax benefits. At our website, renterswarehouse.com, we actually have a calculator and a tool that you can go to and plug in the numbers about your property, and it'll give you an analysis. Does it make sense to rent out my property, or does it make sense to sell it?
There's a lot to think about. Michael, I appreciate the tips and advice and the discussion this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And if you want to check out his website, we'll have a link to it on our website, of course, which is fox4news.com, so you can try out the calculator.